For instance, both sides' kings are still in the center. White could castle kingside at any moment. Black could castle kingside. Black could castle queenside. That's definitely not out of the question.
To handle it with the white pieces, and I see already that the bishop is out on g5. This is one fashionable line that I must admit I'm a little bit mystified by.
The bishop coming to g5 in the Italian?
It just seems to me you're waving a red flag to black, to lock out that bishop, and the game gets massively complicated. And I do appreciate complications, but never directly out of the opening.
Yeah, it does seem very kind of anti-logical to provoke h6 and g5, which is kind of a kingside expansion that black seems to want in the Italian. But if black plays g5, then oftentimes it's hard to decide on a firm placement, a safe placement for black's king, which is why we often see black's king staying in the center for a pretty long time in these types of positions. So I'm going to rewind for a couple of moves just to show us how we got here. We started out as a regular Italian. Black played knight f6. Obviously no fried liver for us today. d3 by Gukesh. Now we transition into kind of mainline Italian, this very fashionable move a4, expanding on the queen side. Ding responds with a5. a6 is the major alternative, but the move a5 prevents b2, b4. Now Gukesh, with that slightly mystifying development of the bishop, immediately met with h6. Bishop drops back. Bishop drops back to a7, typical move in the Italian, and knight to a3, immediately exploiting the flaw of black's move a5. The b5 square is now a very, very nice parking spot for white's knight. Gukesh gets his knight there, develops his queen to b3, aiming at the f7 pawn, and in this position, Ding Liren is pondering his next move, Jovanka.
Yeah, and are we already off the beaten track? I was checking the database, and it just doesn't appear to be too many games here, especially after queen e7. I mean, black had tried g5 instead, but queen e7 played, and knight coming to b5, bishop b6. Obviously you want to maintain that bishop, and after I confess, these type of positions I struggle with. I find them incredibly complicated because all the minor pieces are on the board and there's no clear pawn breaks. Like if you take this position for white, you kind of think, well, I would like to play d4, but d4 is difficult to achieve. f2, f4 is also difficult to achieve. I mean, somehow every single one of white's pieces get in the other's way, and is exactly the same scenario for black. I mean, black doesn't have any pawn breaks either, and there are no good squares for the knight from c6 or f6 to jump to, and I often find that it all kind of hinges on the light squared bishops, whether black can trade them or not.
To be fair, this is how I feel in almost any Italian. Gukesh will resign. But if we stay on this game, he's going to keep thinking. But I think he is about to make a move. He just kind of hesitated there a little bit, and I can bet you it'll be queen e2. Okay, he's waiting for us to switch away to some other game in order to make his move. He just knows we're watching.
Yeah. Have you ever done that in a game? You've waited for the audience just to go away before making a move?
Yeah, I mean, sometimes, when the audience is like Hikaru Nakamura or Magnus, you always feel very nervous making a move in front of someone like that, or lest it be a bad move and lest it trigger an unfavorable facial reaction from the spectators. So yes, definitely, in like the US Championship, when one of the highest rated players comes over, I make sure to be hands over my head thinking about my move and make sure the coast is clear when I commit my blunders. As we see Warmerdam there. And we'll take a look at Warmerdam Faruja momentarily, but okay. Finally, a move by Ding, and it is queen e2.
Queen e2.
Okay,
Precision
back to resign.
at the very end.
Warmerdam also waiting for the results.
Queen takes b2, queen takes g2. Black is spoiled for choice.
Yeah, there's just something mesmerizing about watching a game end. It's like you just are watching the last moves being played, and you know they're the last moves being played. Rook c3, queen d2. Okay, king c4.
But now the rook will just slide over to e4.
There's Jan.
And yeah, Jan there with a smile on his face.
Jan's hilarious.
He likes that rook e4, introducing the final piece into the attack, and Ding scores his very first win, and with the black pieces against the young prodigy Gukesh. What a game! It was a magnificent performance from Ding. Didn't put a foot wrong in the complications. Just very instructive model play there from the world champion.
Yeah, I mean, he's the world champion. He's supposed to be good at chess. I think Ding is very much a favorite in this tournament. He's just so accurate in the complications, and it's great to see him back, and it's great to see him back on form, although, again, way too early to make conclusions. A tough loss for Gukesh, but he goes back to 50%. Not a tragedy. He's going to have to bounce back tomorrow with the black pieces, which